Speaker, I would have to agree with my colleague. This government is beyond redemption. Unless they table those documents as Parliament request, they are in contempt.
In comments, the honourable member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and my honourable colleague for Renfrew, Nipissing, Pembroke. I want to pick up on something she said, but it wasn't quite phrased this way. She said that the Liberal backbenchers had failed to take the actions that could replace the Prime Minister. I just want to draw the House attention to the admirable private members bill from the member for Wellington, Halton Hills, which brought into place changes to the Parliament of Canada Act, which is generally known as the Reform Act, which each caucus of the recognized parties has an opportunity after an election to decide whether they're going to accept them or not. And so far, to give credit for grassroots democracy, only the Conservative Party adopted the Reform Act, and that's what allows the Conservatives to be in compliance with basically the practice of every other Westminster parliamentary democracy around the world, is that a caucus can choose to remove their leader, just as the Conservative caucus in the UK removed Margaret Thatcher and replaced her with John Major and so on. But I do recall the events that occurred on the floor back, as I can see, Mr. Speaker. I'll wrap quickly and say my recollection as an eyewitness to the events in 2016 were not that the Prime Minister attempted to disrupt democracy, but that numerous opposition members were blocking the passage of House leaders to walk forward to the Speaker. Good note to Speaker to know what our former colleague Jeff Regan didn't. You don't have to wait for the House leaders to march up forward. You can read the motion and the question and put it to a vote and not be concerned about obstruction, which was quite against our rules. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Renfrew, Nipissing, Pembroke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, it depends on everybody's perspective and where they were sitting at that point in time and what we saw that evening. In terms of the Reform Act, yes, I do have to thank my colleague from Halton who drafted that. And had the Liberals exercised that themselves in a way where there was no one who was controlling the outcome and there was no one bullying anyone else, they would now see from what's going on with their leadership how important it is to have a process to eject a leader if the leader is not adhering to what has been agreed to by caucus.
Questions and comments? The honourable member for Waterloo.